So, Kristen, we have actually chatted a few times. I'm sure you've chatted with a billion people in Grand Rapids, and
Yep.
I'm super excited to talk to you because, like, you're like the cat's meow, the bee's knees. I know all these old, like I'm 100 years old terms of
Right.
Shipt in Grand Rapids. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your role and how long you've been a Shipt shopper?
Okay. I've been shopping for just over 3 years since it started here in Grand Rapids. And about a year and a half ago, I was invited to apply to be a Metro lead, which basically is a liaison between headquarters in Alabama and the local metro area. So I applied along with a dozen or so other shoppers, and I was accepted and given the contract to be the Metro lead, which basically I'm in charge of communication between our local shoppers and headquarters. I do training events and provide support well on Facebook and emails and all those other different avenues. So,
Are you a 1099 employee like Shipt shoppers, or are you actually payrolled?
no, both of my contracts are 1099.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you allowed to shop as well as be a
Yeah.
lead?
Yeah, I'm supposed to continue to shop so that I make most of my money shopping. The
Oh,
support the support role is actually a smaller role on a smaller scale, just because even though we have thousands of shoppers, that's not enough for me to make my living on
Right.
just the support alone. So
So you
okay.
mentioned there's thousands of shops. Do you know how many active shoppers there's in Grand Rapids right now?
I do not. I know that we hired almost 2,000 shoppers since the COVID scare started.
Sure.
Um, I don't know how many are still around. I don't know how many are still active. I know some of our most active shoppers stopped shopping for a while for health
Okay.
reasons and other reasons. So I don't have any access to the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many total jobs or gigs or what do you call them? How many have you done for Shipt?
I have done over 4,100 shops.
Okay.
Jeez.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And what do they have? They have a rating, right? What is your rating?
My rating is a high 4.9.
Nice. Good job.
Out of 5. So
Good job.
yep.
Well,
So
Shipt is it's interesting. Shipt's an interesting game. It's not as easy as turning on Uber or Lyft.
No.
I know when I first started out, I was like getting all these orders, and then all of a sudden, after I got through my couple of weeks, I
Yep.
I ended up not getting anything. And all these, I live in Granville, and all these ladies
Okay.
over here, they're just killing it during the day. So I never
Yep.
got anything. And what I started to do was just picking up early ones at like 5:30 in the morning or late at
Yeah.
night promos. So
Yeah. That's very common. Brand new shoppers get their first 10. They get first pick, first offer of the jobs that come in. So, regardless of statistics. Otherwise, after your first 10, every shopper on the schedule is thrown into line um, according to their rating.
right.
okay.
And the highest rated shopper gets offered the first shop that comes in, and if they don't take it, it goes right on down the line every 60 seconds. So if you can imagine, if one store has 100 shoppers on the schedule for 1 hour and only 30 shops come in for that hour, the first 30 high rated shoppers are going to take those shops.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. That's it. So it's been tough. I haven't done it since COVID started.
Okay.
But yeah, I do enjoy doing it. But man, I tell you, there have been times I've been so stressed. I like even take 2 orders at a time. And we're talking like small orders. I'm like, oh man, they are like so strict on time. Although if you get a
Yeah.
promo, for anyone that knows, if you pick up a promo, you don't have to be there on time. I try to,
Right.
but you don't get
Yeah.
penalized.
Right. And right now, there's also blanket forgiveness because of COVID, because of all of the stress in the stores, all of the out of stocks and the things that you can't get. They've gone ahead and said, we aren't going to penalize anybody for being late. Some people take advantage of that, and they're taking 2, 3, 4 shops at a time and not caring when they show up to deliver them. And then we have really angry customers, but that's not the norm. Most of our shoppers are really thoughtful and take the time to make sure they're communicating with their customers and letting them know if they're going to be late and what's going on. So
that
But
seems
does
to be
that
the huge difference between Shipt and Instacart is that Shipt is very like on top of, we want you to communicate, you know,
yes,
when you walk in the store, when you sneeze, when you
yeah,
know, go down
yeah,
the food aisle.
yep, pretty much. Yeah, I signed up for Instacart just to get an idea of the differences between Shipt and Instacart and how they worked differently. Um, I did one Instacart shop. That was enough. Um, I didn't care for the platform. I didn't like not communicating. I didn't like the small payout and the far drive. Just didn't seem like it was worth it to me. And I was already used to Shipt at that point too.
okay?
The differences were not ideal. So
What do you mean by that? Oh, the results were not ideal. Is that what you're saying about Instacart?
yeah, I had to drive all the way to the other side of town to even shop. And then the shops that I was offered were two of them, and they were very, very tiny. And the driving, it was more than a half an hour of driving just to deliver the small little order that I got paid
Wow.
$5 for. Didn't make sense. Whereas I can do a shipped order, I'm within 10 to 12 minutes of my delivery address for when I'm at the store, and I'm making $25 instead of $5.
Okay.
It reminds me of my first Uber Eats, my first and second last Uber Eats order ever. I was so excited. For some reason I picked it up. It was 1:15 in the morning, and I was out driving anyways, right? And it was down at Mena's, and I picked him up. It took me like 25 minutes to get the food. And
Yep.
then I had to drive all the way out to the other side of town, and I almost made 2 o'clock rush, which I was so mad about.
Jeez.
But I made like $7.50 on that hour. I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
That was not worth it. Hey, so you brought up monies or how you get paid.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about how does Shipt work in the sense of paying their shoppers. How does that
Okay.
work?
Well, in Grand Rapids, we are on the standard Shipt scale. There are a couple of different scales used across the country, but I know
Okay.
in the Grand Rapids area, we're on the standard scale, and it's $5 per order plus 7.5% of the cash register receipt plus tips.
Okay.
So
And you say often that becomes, at least in these times, $25 per order.
yes,
And have you seen that gone up since COVID started?
definitely. People are tipping more. The percentages are not necessarily going up, although orders have been larger. Families are combining orders, neighbors are combining orders, and ordering together. So some of the shops have been rather large with lots of items and spending a little bit more money, but people have been super generous, knowing they're not putting their health in danger by having to go to the store themselves. They know that we are putting ourselves at risk to bring them groceries, and they're compensating us through their tips.
Now, are they combining orders? Because I know at one point when I was doing Shipt, when I stopped doing Shipt during COVID, the queue was like, I don't know, 250, 300 in the metro area.
Sure.
Yeah. Is that why they're doing it?
Yeah.
I think they're combining orders, Pete. They're meaning families are combining orders, not Shipt wasn't combining them.
Right.
They're doing it because they couldn't get delivery windows. We didn't have enough shoppers to cover the heightened demand. Our demand for our services went through the roof. It more than quadrupled when COVID started. People didn't want to go to the store. They were scared, but they wanted to panic buy. So they made these gigantic lists of all the stuff that they really wanted, and then sent one of us to go get it. And we had over 1,000 open unclaimed shops out there at any given time, because we didn't have enough shoppers.
And how is that today?
Much better. It's been 100 or less open unclaimed orders because we have more shoppers. People are starting to go back to work, so some of those people are not shopping anymore. Some of them, their ratings were terrible, so they're not shopping anymore. Others did a shop and said, this is not for me.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think that would be quite stressful as a new shopper to come in during the pandemic.
absolutely.
I honestly, out of all the gigs that I've done, I think Shipt it can be stressful. And on that note, I want to ask you about how have the stores been? I mean, is it weird? It's probably normal for you because you're like, whatever. The first couple of days, you're probably like, okay, this sucks, but okay, I got this now. But
right.
have you seen anything like cuckoo bananas as far as people being rude or just like running to toilet paper for some reason?
Yes. It's anything but normal. It's starting to get back to normal now. People went insanely crazy buying all of the toilet paper, all of the disinfecting wipes, all of the rice, dry beans, pasta, shelf stable, anything, spam. I've never had so much spam ordered in my entire life. The canned pastas, canned pre-made, and one thing that amazes me is people can't buy a bag of regular rice. If they don't have minute rice, they don't want rice at all. I don't understand why. Rice is easy. It takes 15 minutes. Why does it matter if it's minute rice or a bag of rice?
Hey, man,
Floored me.
people are just like, honestly, it's just like lazy. It's convenience. You know what I mean?
And I'm all for convenience, don't get me wrong, but when it's something like rice,
Right.
I'm like, really?
That's
Okay.
hilarious.
I know. That's just what, and I still to this day, they're not caught up yet in the stores. Their stock it got wiped out, so they're trying to rebuild their stock, and warehouses and ordering's all computerized, and so the ordering system is all out of whack because they cleared the shelves of all this stuff, but the warehouses in the ordering computer system aren't meshing with demand.
Oh.
So it's a hot mess. Yeah. So when things come in, and people are all frustrated because they can't get the minute rice or, the thing that they're used to that's so convenient for them that they're just accustomed to, they're like, oh, well, I'll just wait. Butter is another one. Heaven forbid you can't have your butter in a tub. You might have to have a slab that's wrapped in paper. Oh, no, that's not good enough. I'll wait until they get tubs. Okay, then you just have
the funny thing is, though, I went to Meijer once and the entire butter section
was empty.
Was sold out. Sticks, tubs,
yes,
nasty butter, the good butter. It was all
the butter, all the butter, all the margarine. I have pictures on my phone still that I have saved because people would order butter and I would say, I'm sorry, they don't have the soy vegan butter that you ordered. They don't have any butter. Well, I'll take margarine. No, you don't understand. There isn't any margarine. So I take pictures and I send them to people. This is what we're dealing with. There is literally nothing on the shelf for me to offer you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're a
amazing.
regular shopper, so you have regular customers. How have they been? Have they been okay? Do they understand?
Yes. Thankfully, they know that I go above and beyond and try my best to get them the next best thing when something's not available. So they've been super understanding. The frustrating thing has been we had such an influx of new shoppers that shopped for some of my regular customers.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got precedence over ratings because they were new, and boy, were they frustrated. I talked to a couple of different people that I've shopped for before, and they were like, oh, thank God you're back.
Oh.
Because they just didn't know what they were doing. And I said, no, we have a lot of new shoppers who are getting used to it, and no, some of them don't know what they're doing. But yeah, they're mostly understanding. People are mostly cool about it. So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So you brought up obviously new shoppers and process and that kind of stuff. And so, what was it? Well, I lost my train of thought. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know.
While he's thinking, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I was doing when COVID really started hitting, I stopped, but I was doing Instacart and Shipt.
Yep.
Does Shipt allow their customers to change the tip after their stuff's been delivered?
Yes.
Have you seen, there's been a lot of people upset with Instacart because a lot of the customers have taken their tips away after their stuff gets delivered. Have you seen that with Shipt as well?
Not very much, no, because they can't tip until after we deliver anyway.
Mm.
So tips are based on the service provided. So I have seen and know of a couple of my regulars who went back in and changed tips later, because after I talked to them and they told me the debacles that happened with their groceries, like they got half of somebody else's order and not half of their own order, they went back in and changed their tips and their
Yeah.
rating. They didn't know they could do that. So most people don't even know they can. But
Right.
Yeah, that's a shame with Instacart because they're basically tip baiting. I mean, I've seen some pictures where there've been like $40, $50 tips, and people, of course, jump on it and
of
deliver,
course.
and then they either not take it all away or knock it down to like $5, and it's just like, oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't get that because they can't tip until after the order is marked delivered. So
Okay.
Yeah, that's a benefit.
yeah.
So I actually remember my question. Sorry about that. So how has COVID changed the way you shop, the way you go about shopping?
I give myself double the time because it takes twice as long. The store shelves are completely empty of certain things. I know I'm going to be telling them they just don't have any antibacterial wipes. They just don't have hand sanitizer. They just don't have toilet paper, things like that. And for things like canned vegetables and things, I know that I'm going to have to be offering them options because their first choice is not going to be on the shelf, and there comes an order. Woohoo! And I'm going to ignore it. So, yeah.
Oh. Not a regular. Check.
Nope, it's not one of my regulars, exactly. So, yeah. But yeah, it's taking a lot longer. I'm also, it's weird because sometimes I'm the only one in the store. It's me, the employee stocking the shelves, and a couple of other Shipt shoppers. And then it gets to be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and all of a sudden, all the people decide they can leave their houses and go to the store. And yeah, so that's just super frustrating because there's way too many people in the store. They shouldn't be out. They bring their whole families. The kids are running around and picking stuff up and moving stuff around, and yeah. So it's become more frustrating, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the late start is probably because everyone's sleeping in now. That I mean, I'm back to work, but before, I mean, I slept in with my kids, and now,
Sure.
and then they're like, it's 1 o'clock after lunch, trying to the store.
Right. Yeah, and that's great for people, but for me, I mean, I like it better when people stay away. So I don't know.
Get out of your way, right?
Yeah, and then the arrows on the floors. If you've been in the grocery store, have you been in a Meijer store?
My wife's been doing the shopping.
So they put arrows on the floor, and they want you to follow the arrows and only go one way up one aisle, and then down the next aisle, and then up the next aisle, and down. And people are rude to each other.
Oh, go ahead.
I had an old lady yell at me because I was going the wrong way. And she says, "Can't you see the arrows? Don't you know how to follow the arrows?" And I looked at her and I said, "Actually, yes, I can see the arrows. Do you know what a mask is? Can you wear one?"
Heyo.
She's worried about the arrows and she's not wearing a mask.
She wasn't wearing a mask. She like ran away. She was like 80 years old. I'm like, you know what? This is ridiculous. It was stupid. But yeah, I follow the arrows half the time because if I don't get something down an aisle, I'm not wasting my time going around.
Right.
But
So,
I mean, not to say this, but the arrows is not for you either. You know every inch of that store. You know exactly where you're going.
yes, exactly.
And not, yeah.
I'm not wandering and browsing like a lot of the other people are. I'm going and I know the 2 items I need in that aisle. I know exactly what shelf they're on, and I know I can walk right up to it, grab it, and walk out down the aisle.
Right.
It's not, I'm not wandering around looking at all the options. So
Half the time you're in the aisle, you're walking the right arrow, right?
Right.
So, Kristen, I have a question, kind of get a little bit back on topic. So what are the 3 most important tips for a new Shipt shopper? I know that people that are going to watch us are going to be like, give me some tips. Not like so much strategies. We would never ask you to do that, but just something that might be helpful for other new Shipt shoppers.
Sure. As a new shopper, read shoppers.shipt.com 10 times. It is the Bible of Shipt shopping. Read it, do a few shops, read it again, do a few more shops, read it again, and I'm not kidding. Every question you have is in that website, and it's searchable. You can put in whatever you want to know, and it's going to bring up an article or 10, and it's going to give you all the information you need to know. That's the number one tip. Read the Shopper Hub,
So,
shoppers.shipt.com.
so wait a minute. When I message you, you're like, "Oh my gosh, read the hub. Go to
Yes,
the hub."
yes, exactly. And I have been called the Shipt Nazi because I will literally send people a link and say, search this keyword. Here you go.
I think you have sent me a
Is
few
that
links.
sound familiar?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have, and I'm like, that's cool. Like, if you can give me the information quicker, I mean, because most of the
Right.
time when you're asking the question, you're like panicked. You're like in the store, and you're like a deer in headlights. You're like,
Right.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that happens, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's easy enough. I know the answers to most questions, so it's usually not that big of a deal, but still.
Right.
That is the number one tip. Number two tip, communication with the customer is key. If you have anything that comes up, let the customer know. The more they know, the more they can understand, the more they can be receptive to whatever it is that's going on. If things go wrong, if things go right, just let them know. They appreciate that. And then learning to use and love the schedule. I know people want promo money because it's more money. Who doesn't want more money, right? Well, promos come about for many reasons, mostly because A, it's somebody that's a pain in the butt to shop for, or B, it's been rescheduled about 7 times and these people are not going to be happy because it's 6 hours later than what they originally wanted it, or C, something went wrong and this order is weird, like it's 12 packages of toilet paper and 10 packages of wipes that they're not going to have anyway, right? Or they special ordered alcohol. So, which you can't do. So you have to learn to love the schedule. You're going to get regular customers. You're going to know your schedule for the day up to 3 days ahead of time. You're not going to be stressed. You're going to have your shops all ready to go. And you're going to be like, oh, this isn't so bad. This is easy. Then you're going to be more relaxed. You're going to be able to take your time shopping. You're going to be able to pay attention to the one customer at a time you're shopping for, and they're going to tip you more because you're paying attention to them and providing them the best service that you can.
Yeah, I know that Shipt is really focused on the customer service, and I felt a little intimidated. I'm not going to lie, because I was like hearing people putting like thank you cards in the bag, and I'm like, honestly, I'm just not going to do that. I mean, I'm going to try to provide the best service I can, and if that's not good enough, then I guess it's not for me.
Right. And I'm all about that too. I have friends that they put candies or thank yous or whatever in their packages. I've done that a handful of times. At Christmas time, I made little baggies with cheap little candy canes in them one year. If I know somebody's in the hospital or just getting home from the hospital, I might bring them. I have blank note cards in my car. I might write a sweet little something, but I'm not spending money to make money other than the gas in my car.
Yeah. No, I get it around Christmas time. I mean, for sure.
We've tried a couple of times. We always go back and forth a little bit when there's big events in town. We try with the, does it help to buy candy and water for the car? Particularly like Beer Fest is a really big day to drive, and people enjoy having a bottle of water in the car, but they don't tip anymore because of it. So it doesn't really work that well. So it's just to be nice, and so
Right. Yeah. And to be nice is one thing, but to do it in expectation of a tip. I've had deliveries made to me by other Shipt shoppers because I've put in an order, and I've actually received a request to tip them via text. Yeah. After my delivery. And that's an instant 2-cent tip. Here's my 2 cents. Don't be rude and ask for a tip.
Right.
So I literally tip them 2 cents.
Wow.
I had one time, I didn't ask for the tip at all, but I was one time somebody took the time, and it's pretty hard to tip on Uber, but somebody took the time to tip me 1 cent. I was so furious because it was worse than not tipping at all. It was
Yes.
somebody
Right.
who took the time to
Yeah.
tip 1 cent.
Yep.
Like,
And
are
that,
you? Yeah.
then that's why I say it's a statement tip. I was
Right.
gonna not tip you, but that 0 just looks like I forgot. So I'm gonna make a statement tip. You get my 2 cents. I mean, just rude. It's rude. It's rude to ask for a tip. If you
Right.
provide good service, somebody's going to tip you. I'm a generous tipper because I know these jobs are hard and I know what goes into them. I mean, I tip my Uber drivers. I've ordered from DoorDash a couple times. I tip them. I tip my Shipt shoppers. You know, it's what you're supposed to do.
Unless they ask for it.
Unless they ask for it and then they get my 2 cents. Yep.
Oh man, Kristen, you're brutal.
I
So
am.
what
I'm
is
so
the best what was the best week you ever did? You probably don't want to maybe I shouldn't ask you this. Maybe you will say it, I don't know. But like what was your best week? We I think a couple podcasts ago we had somebody on there. Pete, do you remember what that number was? Wasn't it like something like 4K or something? Wasn't
Yeah, it was nuts. I was going to actually ask about that, like how hard that is.
He
to
worked
do.
80 hours. I want to say 80 hours, and it was $4,000 in sales. I think it was.
Okay.
No, I
Like,
think it was
maybe not.
10K in sales, and it was.
Oh, that's right. There's
And he
right,
netted
yeah.
4K.
Yeah, it was like 92 orders.
That's insane. I have not done that much. I will say since COVID has started, I have earned over $1,000 a week every single week.
Nice.
Working
was
good.
working part-time.
It was 97 orders and almost $4,500.
No, that we have people that consistently do that. We do. We have shoppers that consistently pull those numbers. Yes. In Grand Rapids.
Actually, I shouldn't even doubt that because I've seen some of the Shipt shoppers in Grand Rapids like just zooming around.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
We had a conversation about it. We figured someone was helping them.
We have a couple of couples who do it together. One shops, the other delivers, and that's totally against the rules, but they manage to somehow still get away with it. I look at that and go, how are you really making it worth your while to bring in the income? Because it doesn't double your income.
No.
But yeah. So, I mean, we do have people that have helpers. They're not supposed to. But yeah. I can imagine.
one kind of couple closing questions. What is your favorite place to shop or in your least favorite?
Boy, my favorite place to shop is Meijer on Alpine, just because of the people that work there, and the store is usually better stocked than the other ones.
On Alpine? Wow.
Yes.
I did
That's my
not
store.
anticipate that one.
Nope. Yep. That's my store. That's my home store. I've shopped every Meijer store in the Grand Rapids metro area, and that's where I call home, is the Meijer on Alpine. Target is a close second. I love shopping at Target. We just don't get that many Target orders. We get many, many, many more Meijer orders. Bridge Street Market is fun, but they're still up and coming.
It's fun.
They have growing pains. They opened and it was a hot mess and it was really stressful to shop there, but I did because we didn't have enough people to shop there. And then it went really great for about a month, and then COVID hit and they couldn't keep up, even worse than Meijer. So it was, yeah. And I've tried to go back over there a couple times and I just can't. I'm much more comfortable at Meijer. Much more comfortable.
All right.
And then what's your worst store?
Bridge Street Market.
Right now, yeah. Right now it would be Bridge Street Market. I can't do it. Although Petco Petco has the driving time from hell. You literally, there's one Petco in Grand Rapids. It's on Alpine. It delivers all the way to Ada and south to Caledonia, and it's just a hot mess. It's nuts. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
One thing, what is the best and worst thing about Shipt?
I think the best thing about Shipt is it allows us to be our own boss, and it's so flexible and wonderful. to be able to set my own schedule, work when I want, don't work when I want, earn as much as I want, take the time that I need to do the other things that I need, and it's always going to be there for me. The worst thing is, as an independent contractor, I'm responsible for everything.
Yeah.
Keeping track of everything, and they don't give us the things we need to do our job other than the platform, the support, and the customers and the marketing and stuff. But from the ground up, it's all on me. So they do a really good job of it. I have to give them credit because they do, but that's tough. It's learning to be your own boss is a tough thing. So
on that note, have you ever heard of the company called Dumpling?
yes.
What do you think about? Do you know anything about that?
I know very little. I know we have a few shoppers who either got fired from Shipt or chose to go that route instead or in addition to. More power to them. I don't want to work that hard.
No.
I kind of have it made with Shipt. They have it all built in. The scaffolding of how it works is just super, super convenient and a lot easier.
Excellent. Jesper and Pete, you got any other questions for Miss Kristen?
Are you maybe I missed this, but do you do this full time then, or is this kind of a part time or somewhere in between?
It's somewhere in between. This is my only job other than raising my 3 children.
Sure.
I don't work 40 hours most weeks. I'm somewhere around 30 to 35. But so it's not technically a full-time job, but it provides the income that I need that a full-time job would. So
excellent.
Yeah,
That is the best part about gig. What you brought up earlier is the flexibility to do it. So anything else, Jesper?
The only other question I have is, what have we not asked? What is the one thing
we
we're missing? What is the one thing that we're missing? Giving as a tip or whatever for a new Shipt shopper or whatever. What is the one thing that you want to end with?
I guess more of a message to people who might order from Shipt and to shoppers. Order from Shipt. Try it. See it from the member side. And for people who order from Shipt who haven't been in a grocery store in maybe 3 years, take a trip to the store. See what it's like. See what we're dealing with. It's not normal anymore. No, but seriously, to use, if you're in a gig economy, to use that gig once to see it from the customer side provides a perspective that's unparalleled by anything else. So give it a try. We get a free membership as a Shipt shopper. Your membership is free. You don't have to pay for the membership. You do have to pay for your groceries, but it's silly not to. At least try it once.
Yeah, Kristen, that is such good advice. We tell people that as well. Like, you need to be a rider in
yes,
just so you kind of know what the app looks like on the other end, and
yes,
and what other people are doing. You're like, oh boy, like I either need to do this because it's awesome, or I can never ever do this.
Yes, exactly. It's important to know that side of things. It just helps you to understand the whole thing better. So
I actually do have one more question that it just popped in my mind.
okay.
And I'm asking because it's pretty important to us.
Okay.
Uber community is huge. How is the Shipt community?
The Shipt community is huge. We have a really good supportive core group of OG shoppers that have been here since the beginning. We have a really good group that has come in since then and fits in really well. Of course, we have the drama because there's thousands of us. And what would a group be without a little bit of drama? But it's really important that we have a Facebook group that we connect on. People can ask questions. People can be excited for each other and post their successes or their, I had a terrible day, or this shop was awful, or whatever. They can kind of rally around each other either way, good and bad. And so it's really important. We try to get together when it's not quarantine, go out for lunch, go out for happy hour, go out for dinner, go out for breakfast, that kind of thing, at least once a month. We're missing that. It's tough. We see each other in the store now and we really miss that interaction. So
yeah, I can say I don't, I'm still in the Shipt group. I don't follow it just because there's so many posts, but there's really, it's nothing like the Uber groups. Like there is, I would say like 98% is pretty above board. Like people are respectful.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Yeah, you're gonna get some a-holes, but the Uber groups are exact opposite. It's 98 a-holes and 2% good. Like,
Oh, that's not good. Well, and then I'm the admin in our Facebook group too.
okay.
And I'm kind of harsh. I just delete stuff. I don't care who you are or what you are. If you're bashing a member or you're bashing another shopper, boom, it's gone. We're not tolerating any of that. So,
well, I'm sure everyone appreciates that. Well, Kristen, thank you so much for joining us. This has been super
very
fun.
welcome.
Good luck in the future, and maybe we'll cross paths down the road. Who knows?
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Kristen.
All right.
Yep,
Thanks.
you're welcome. Thanks.
Nice meeting you.
Bye.
Yep, nice to meet you too. Bye.